feel like
goofy
we should
about the
play
little
Star Wars music. Dun, 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 dun. What?
Yeah. Something's goofy about the button. Sometimes I'll push it and then it'll go down and then go up and I'm just like, ah.
It's all in the mystery.
Yeah.
Well, hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday. We are here on the NG Enterprises page, standing for No Guts, No Glory. Amber Vilhauer here with Damon Yudichak, and I am just tickled pink about this episode. We're doing something different today for the Elevate series, where we are doing a 30-minute hot seat right now. Damon is about to put on a really amazing online virtual summit. And we were talking last week and all of these ideas were flowing. And I said, Damon, why don't we just go live next week? And you can ask me anything that you want about how to successfully market, sell, operate a virtual online summit. And I said, I bet a bunch of people would get value out of that. And he was so willing. And so here we are. Damon, yay. I'm so happy to spend time with you.
I'm excited to be here, and this summit has been I think one of the most excited things I've been about in my life, outside of family stuff with marriage and having children. I've got some great speakers lined up and a lot of fun stuff planned from a marketing standpoint. So I'm excited about that. So that's and then you kind of were actually the one that was the initial inspiration with this, with doing the Elevate series.
Yeah.
You talked to me about, you talked about all this to the attendees at Author Up Live, which ended up being a virtual conference. Yeah. And, it's March is a busy time of the year. I was just like, well, let me try it. And the great thing about the Elevate series was I realized there wasn't a whole lot to it from a standpoint of actual technical execution. And the marketing isn't terribly difficult either. So I got really excited about it. And then as I was doing that, then I came up with the idea of doing this virtual summit for real estate agents.
Virtual summit for real estate agents. So to give you guys a little bit of backstory, I was introduced to Damon through Mike Michalowicz.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see Mike's books there. That yellow cover, Mike, I love it. And so anyway, we were introduced to each other through Mike. Damon came into our Author Up Live event in March, right?
March, yeah.
I'm so lost track of time, like many other people now. But yeah, it was a 2-day event that we were supposed to have in person in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. And at the last second, that's when we had to cancel. We changed everything, much of our agenda and everything. We went live inside of this community, but it was a virtual based event. It was very successful, really enjoyed it, but that allowed me time to get to know Damon, his daughter's a little bit better. We had a couple of calls.
Yeah.
When the Elevate series launched, as he said, there was a time where a lot of people were asking if they could be interviewed on the series, and I just didn't have as much bandwidth. So I set up this ambassador program that would enable anybody to go to a web page on my site and learn how to initiate their own Elevate live stream series, where then Damon heard about it and he's like, no, okay. And he went in and he started his own Elevate series. And all of a sudden, you guys, I'm seeing Damon go live daily with these incredible people, and he's interviewing and he's having the time of his life. It's true. He's smiling and he's really into it. And I'm thinking, this is too cool. And out of nowhere, he's like, oh, I want to do a summit now. And I'm watching you like the speed of light right now, just saying, yes, you're showing up, you're taking action. You've created something that's really remarkable in a short period of time because you said yes and you went into action. And it's been amazing to watch all of this unfold. And now the summit is coming up in the next couple of weeks. Now, for those of you that don't know, I have done lots of summits in my life. I've done my own summits as well. The one I'm most proud of is the Authentic Business Success Summit, which, gosh, now must be 5 or 6 years old. But it was a huge effort. I mean, it took me 5 months of heavy planning and execution. I only interviewed about 15 guests, but we set it up for sale. And I had half of the proceeds were donated to charity. We raised, I think, $16,000 for charity.
Wow.
We had speaker competitions. We had like the public vote in our last remaining speaker. And so that was like a month-long campaign that we did. I mean, we just had so much fun with that summit. And then all of a sudden people started coming to me saying, could you do that for me? And I said, okay. And that was actually a very popular service that I ran for years inside of my web agency, where it was like a done for you summit service. And I was doing consulting and setting up the pages and responsible for marketing and sales. So when Damon said he was doing this, I thought, well, gosh, this sounds fun. Let's do the hot seat.
Yeah.
So Damon, you literally can ask me anything that you want, and we'll just see what comes out of the conversation. For those of you watching, say hello in the comments below. Let us know you're here. If you have a question about virtual summits, post it up, and we're ready to get started at any time, Damon.
All right. So I wrote down 3 questions just as my little preparation thing. So
Great.
What do you think makes for a great summit?
The word that comes to mind is experience, right?
Okay.
You want it to be very experiential. And there's a few ways to look at this, because we have, how are people experiencing the host, which is you?
Yeah.
How are people experiencing your speakers? And what's the viewer experience like as well? And so when I'm thinking about a summit or even a live stream like this, I'm constantly thinking about, how am I showing up? How is Damon showing up? We've got to give love to the viewers that are there. And so here are a couple of things that come to mind. In terms of the host seat role, it's very important because you're the one that's establishing that foundation for everything else to follow, right? When I show up, I've actually started calling it Elevate 20. Let me explain what that is. You think that you're operating at a certain vocal strength or pace or intensity or brightness or energy, let's call it, right? So you think that this is your baseline for energy. But when you think about that, energy has to transfer through this camera into somebody's screen and then all the way over to them. And through that process, that distance, imagine like a dial tone, and it's going down by 20%. So you're actually being delivered at a 20% deficit from where you think you are operating. And what I encourage you to do is I want you to dial that up an extra 20%. It's going to feel weird and uncomfortable at first, right? But you need to dial up that energy so it's strong enough to transfer all the way through technology and digital barriers and land into the viewer experience so that they feel impacted energetically as a result of listening to your interview, whatever it is. This is a trick for podcasting and video recording and summits for sure. But I want you to crank up that energy 20%. It'll become a little bit more normal after you do it. What I don't mean, it's not like become a clown all of a sudden. It just means that I want you to rev up that energy however you need to do it. You could be doing jumping jacks, get the blood flowing, or some people meditate, or you're listening to music, whatever you need to do. That actually is going to have an impact on how people experience your summit. Another thing that comes to mind as it relates to speakers is how you set the intention and the tone for them is going to be really crucial. I've noticed that in some environments, a speaker will come in and they're just kind of like boring, or they're holding, you can feel them holding back, like they're not really that excited about it. So if you come in and you say, look, here's what I'm looking for. I want to give a performance out of this interview. Okay. So what I'm looking for is I want you to dial up your energy and your enthusiasm and your delivery and performance. And I want you to transfer that to the viewer on the other end. No need to think about the masses here. Just think about one person that you really want to impact with your message. I want you to tap into your why. Why did you start this business in the first place? Why are you excited to be here and share your message today? And if you can tap into that place, and then as your host, I want to make it conversational, little entertainment value. I want you to be story rich, story driven. That's the tone, that's the experience. Does that make sense to you? And then you'll see the speaker they want to do a good job for you. Like they really do. So if you give them that coaching and that direction in advance, they'll show up for you the best that they can with that direction. And that will automatically be better than their baseline. So now the host is coming in, the speaker's coming in, both with a better, stronger energy, which is going to make it so much more entertaining for the people watching. And the last thing I would add for the viewer experience is, what can you do for those viewers to make them feel like you see them individually and they're not just in a sea of a bunch of random strangers? It's easier in a live stream format like this, Damon, because we have Alexis on our team right now in the comments, welcoming people and communicating with them and thanking them for starting watch parties if they share this or tag friends, and just that alone will help somebody feel taken care of, like I'm seen. And if there's a way for you to try to, I don't know if you're having a chat box where people are watching.
I don't think we're going to have one for that. Yeah. I'll look into it though.
Maybe this is your opportunity. In fact, I was just talking to Todd on my team and I found Stu McLaren is using a tool called Chatroll. Roll. Chatroll.com.
Okay. I'll look at that.
There's another option called Chatwing, like the wing of a bird. My memory is Chatwing is free. I've used it for years. I think you might consider having a chat. It depends on how much volume you have in terms of viewership.
Yeah.
But if you can even get maybe one of your daughters in there to welcome people. Hey, Ben, do you have any questions? Or what do you think of that? And they're sharing teaching points throughout. It's just going to create a better viewer experience as well. So I would just remember experience in all ways. Yeah.
Got it. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Wonderful. So tell me about some fun ways that you've promoted your summits in the past. And that may be, I know you've got a deep barrel of those things.
This is the trick of not knowing the questions in advance.
Yeah.
But no, I'm always trying to get really, really just creative in my approaches, Damon, but at the root of all of it, I make it personal. And that's always worked really well for me. So of course you want to have like an email sequence that goes out to your email list that's sort of preparing them for what's to come. You're conditioning them. You can obviously be doing your live streaming and your social media leading up to it as well. I actually really enjoyed your idea of the speaker reveal.
Yeah.
So for those of you watching, he has a sales page and we can put that in the chat below. My Alexis is going to be doing that. And that's awesome. And what he has these like blurred out circles where the speaker's photos are behind the blurriness. And then it says like on May 18th, this speaker will be revealed. And it's such a cool way to get people built up into like building up that momentum. I think that one of my most successful ones, I kind of spoke about it earlier, was when I allowed the people to vote on who my final speaker should be. And so I'm trying to remember exactly how I did it. I think I just set up a simple form on my website that says nominate our 15th speaker. And then it's like, the Authentic Business Success Summit series is all about how to develop your thought leadership or, that kind of thing. It's very short about what it's about, but we're looking for this type of speaker nominate. And it would be like, the person I'm nominating is this person, and this is my name and email address. And it was very simple. I gave them, I think, 2 weeks. And what was happening is like the woman that won, Nancy Solomon, she was emailing her list like crazy. Nominate me, nominate me. This viral like you would not believe, Damon.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because sometimes people who are just starting out, they don't have the kind of influence to be known as like a big time speaker. And a lot of times hosts want the big time speakers. Makes sense why. But the chance that you could get the community involved for one chair, they're going to give value for sure on the interview. Nancy did a phenomenal job, but boy, if she did not promote the heck out of my summit, and a lot of other people did too. It was a close race in the end. So that comes to mind. I wonder, you could even be doing some sort of a free online challenge using live streaming. I wonder if like the final 5 days before your summit kicks off, maybe you go live every day for 15 minutes, same time every day, and you give a nugget, you promote the summit, and then you give people some sort of a challenge related to the topics or teaching points or outcomes that people can expect from your summit. And it might be, take a picture of this scenario, hashtag it and put it on Instagram or Facebook. And then, somebody and each day you're giving away a free ticket to the summit, like free forever access, but it could just be an entertaining way for people to support your summit in advance. One of the challenges could be, I want you to start a watch party. I want you to tag 5 friends. I want, be thinking about the viral component of it. And if you can get people to promote this with you, that's the best way for sure. Always.
Yeah. Well, I know on the when people register, there's a request to share it on Facebook, but then I also have a little email that says, go ahead and send this to 3 people. So they can just copy and paste it and put it in there. So that was one of the things I'm doing. But part of the when I reveal the speakers, it's actually going to be me holding a hat or something where I'm pulling the name out of the hat. So I don't even know who's getting revealed when.
Oh, cool.
Except for the last day. I'll know the last day because, there's only 2 people left.
Oh, true.
True.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I think that sounds, I want to call out what you just said because so many people don't do this, Damon. I think this will really help our viewers. Anytime that you have some sort of an event coming up, like you're doing a webinar, let's say, and people are opting in for that webinar, on the success page, I ask them, copy and paste this post into Facebook right now. Just do me the biggest ever favor.
Yeah.
I want to impact as many people as possible. Then they get the email. I ask them the same thing. Give them your content. Make sure it's only 3, 4, 5 sentences at most.
Yeah.
So it's really simple. But people aren't just going to do it because you said, could you do this? You got to tap into the why. If they really get the importance of this, people like helping other people. It makes them feel good, especially in an economy like this. But if you don't type that up for them and ask them to do it, don't expect that they're just going to do it because you have the little Facebook icon on your success page, right?
Yeah.
So good. At every turn, I want you to adopt that same thinking, Damon. So at the end of one of your interviews, depending on how you're doing your emailing to your subscribers during the actual summit, whenever you're sending out an email notification, it's like, this was our favorite teaching topic by so-and-so, let's have you copy and paste that into Facebook or tweak it to add in your favorite teaching topic, right? But if you're getting people to even promote this during the series or after the series, I mean, this thing should go on forever.
Well, that's the hope. And I'm really looking for this to be not just a one-time thing. I can't even tell you how much work has gone into this in compressed time period.
It's been remarkable to watch.
Yeah, it's been so much fun. And then as I've been working through it, it's like, oh, this great idea came through and this idea came through and all this other stuff. And so that's been the fun thing, that just when I was getting to where I was done with one thing, this amazing idea, well, at least I think it's amazing idea popped up, and I was like, okay, let's do this, you know? So it's been a lot of fun from a creative standpoint.
I can tell. And honestly, it's inspired me. I mean, I just want you to know it's because I need people like you going out and taking bold action and being creative and helping others. Like that's important for me to see. And you have absolutely been doing that. And just even from guys, the way he's been communicating with speakers. For example, he made this entire PDF. That way you had all of the details up front. Then in the next email, he makes a video. And I thought, yes, with
Yeah.
the videos. He made a speaker video that goes into more detail about what to expect and when and what fun is developing. And you know what? It was not a dry, boring video. You could see Damon getting giddy about sharing this information. Like, look, we even have a speaker video. And I just thought, that's what I mean, because your enthusiasm transferred to me. And I thought, this is so cool. And it makes me want to give back. It makes me want to tell more people about it, which is exactly the next thing I did.
Yeah. And the amazing thing for me, and I told you this when we talked on Friday, is, you know, I had a list of, originally I was only going to do 5 speakers. Then that changed and I got another amazing speaker to come in, and I was like, okay, well, now I need to do 10 speakers. And every single person that I asked said yes, which, I mean, you've been doing summits for a long time. That never happens. And so that was really encouraging and exciting to me from that standpoint. And I just, you know, the idea was going to be the online real estate agent success summit, I think was what it was. And then as I was thinking Sunday morning before I went for a hike, I was just like, well, what am I really wanting to present with this? And it was just like, and I came up with 2 ideas. One was success is a choice. And then right after that, I was like, no, choose success. And so then I was like, oh my goodness, that's got to be the message. And then I was able to get the domain name, choosesuccesssummit.com. And so I'm really excited for that because I think it's going to have a neat effect for all the speakers that are involved, because they are making a statement by just using the name Choose Success, that's the kind of person that they are.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And I'm really thrilled to hear that you want to do another one of these. You should. If you're going to go through all of the effort to set up a summit, if you don't do it again, you're kind of, because the second time you do it, it's going to be so much faster than the first time. So you could just do it like a Netflix where it's series 1, series 2, series 3, right? A lot of people, or season 1, season 2, other people do. And I feel also, Colin, and we'll get to your next question, but when it comes to asking people if they'd like to be a part of your summit, one creative way that I want to have you consider, number 1, it has to be custom. Don't you dare ever make a template and then just send that to a bunch of people. Unacceptable. Got to make it personal, got to make it customized. But if you can, you could make individual video invites where you are appealing to that person as you're giving them recognition, you're telling them about your summit and inviting them to be a guest and explaining your why and your vision. And that will definitely make a difference. And then when you're done with your summit, don't forget to think about how you're going to thank the people that showed up for you and promoted with you. So when I did the Elevate series in the first 2 weeks, I made these hand-carved eagles. So it's it's the Leverage to Scale eagle. It's not that one because that's too big, but it's about this big. And it was just a hand-carved eagle. And I sent it out with a handwritten thank you card and a little message about what that eagle represents for our company. And people just appreciated that so much. To them, it felt like an above and beyond effort. To me, it was like pretty, no big deal. But doing something after the fact, doing what other people aren't willing to do. Right. doesn't take that much more effort, but just remembering to take care of your people that way is part of the experience.
Well, that's already on my list of things to do. And I have been trying to think about different things I can do. I always like to do a handwritten thank you card, but I know that that's not enough for thanking the speakers. But I have been thinking of, what could be something really cool to do. And I'll come up with it soon enough.
What could be cool is
Okay.
get a challenge coin. Do you know what those are? They're like heavy weighted coins, and you can get like a cool design on it, and you can get them custom made, and you could get like a challenge coin that says choose success on it. Oh my God. It's just something that they could carry around with them. That's like a thing. You should look into challenge coins. I think you'd like it.
Well, I like it, but I also like the idea of doing something handmade. So one of the things I do before I started writing, I was really big into making model airplanes. And so the idea of me doing something handmade, I really like that idea because that's a one of a kind thing. Even if it's two of the same things, it's still one of a kind because I could never be perfect with doing that. So that's something that really appeals to me, to do something that's would be fun from that standpoint.
Looking at challenge coins, Damon.
I'll look into it. Yeah.
No, yeah. I think that's an interesting thing. Okay. What other question did you have?
So with stuff like this, social media is important. One thing I've heard though is that using social media, what do you call it, software to promote, so you schedule it out. I've heard that some of the social media platforms really don't like you doing those. And so how do you manage that in a way? Because like emails are really easy to set up because you can schedule them and then you can put all sorts of automation behind them. But social media is a different animal altogether. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, the world is changing once again.
Yeah.
Some people feel that the amount of decrease in your reach is worth it, right? So I'd just rather get it scheduled, and if I take a small hit, it's fine. It's worth it to me. Otherwise it's just going to be a matter of getting somebody in there to make the post every day. Now with Facebook, you can preload those posts inside of Facebook and schedule them out, right?
Yeah.
But you just have to use Facebook's scheduling tool, whereas other networks don't have that capability. So I will definitely agree with you that it is not easy right now at all, but you're just going to have to decide if that's something that you really care about or not. I think that we do kind of a mix of both of those. Sometimes we'll just post real time. Other times we might pre-schedule some sort of filler content. It also just depends on what the purpose is. Are you talking about promoting it beforehand or during the summit?
Well, I think both. And part of me is leaning more towards doing it manually. And I've got, I can have someone go in there and do it for me. From the standpoint, if it's only, it's not a very long period, right? Yeah. Now, if it was something that, as far as duration of time between now and the end of the event, so I was leaning more towards having it being manual, but having all the pics and the text, they're already written out. So then it's just a matter of, upload the picture, paste the post, and then that might take you, 10 seconds, half a minute at most. And so from that standpoint, it's not time consuming. And then the other piece was just, okay, this is what I'm going to post and just have a schedule, so that was the plan on posting it for myself. And I know probably everyone else in the world has more knowledge about social media than me, because
you'd be surprised.
Amber is shaking her head. It's one of those things that I still don't get. But I don't think there's anyone that doesn't not enjoy some form of social media, and I'm one of those. Yeah.
Nobody knows what social media is, really. I mean, come on, it's constantly changing. We're all just figuring it out every day anyway. And that's why I just made a choice to have a level of freedom about it and to be myself and to share what I think is really valuable, great content when I feel to share it. I don't agree with posting content for the sake of posting content, because I think that devalues your brand. But as long as you really show up with an intention to serve and to lead and to give value and to build relationships, honestly, it doesn't pick a path of how you want to do it, really. But the key, I think, is to be consistent about your social media and to be frequent about it. I also think it's important to have variety, because otherwise people tend to get bored or they tune out when they notice too much of a pattern. And I also think people tune out when the post sounds very generic. Like the thing I was just preaching about yesterday is that when people, let's say, get interviewed on a podcast and it's like, I'm so honored to have been featured on this podcast with so-and-so. It's like everybody says that. And so yesterday I was talking to my team and I said, I want to pull out an incredible teaching moment from somewhere in the podcast and put that first, and then say something about the audience, and then anything about me that should happen somewhere else, like later on in the post. Like, let's hit them hard right out of the gates. I think if you just really put your in the seat of self, like if you put your self in the seat of the people watching, look at the things that you enjoy, look at the things that annoy you, and just adjust your social media accordingly, and it's going to work better than trying to fit into some sort of a box anyway.
Got it.
And the way that you highlight your speakers, I wouldn't be like, oh, so-and-so is going to be on my summit, I'm so excited. And even though you are excited, we know that's genuine, but like, I want you to picture an onion and peel that back. Like, instead of the generic bio, like, what is it about Don that you just think is remarkable? Why did he come to your mind first? What's the story there? That's what people want to know. They want the real right now. They're so over the typical glossy cover page stuff. Like, people want to know what your real relationship is. That's another reason that I started this live stream before you were sitting there moving your desk up and down. And I thought, this is the perfect time to go live, because people want real. I'm telling you.
Very good. Very good. I wish I could think of some more questions. Those were really the big ones I had. I mean, it's like I said, I'm super excited about it. And I'm excited about the message. And
tell people the name and message again as we wrap up.
So it's the Choose Success Summit, and it's specifically targeted for real estate agents. I've been working with real estate agents for, oh my goodness, 12 years now, and I'm actually writing Profit First for real estate agents. And I one of the things I have learned over time is how savvy real estate agents are. The thing that, with all the different types of businesses that I've worked with, the ones that I've seen grow and become successful in a very rapid period of time, those have been some of the best business leaders that I've gotten to know over my career. And it's gotten to be, and I always knew that they were some of my favorite types of people to work with, but there is such an amazing business acumen with real estate agents that I just, that's part of the reason why I wanted to do the summits, was to get some really successful people to talk and share about, their experience and what they're doing to grow their businesses and be profitable right now.
You know what stood out to me when you said that is when you said amazing business acumen.
Yeah.
That's the kind of like core of the onion stuff that people don't say things like that very often.
Yeah.
But if that's really the essence that got you so excited to do that, to do this summit, I want you to expand upon that and infuse that into everything else that you do.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Good. I'm so excited for
thank
your
you.
summit, Damon. We are definitely going to promote it. So we will continue to keep the NGNG community well informed of what is happening with Damon. Proud of you, Damon. This is really
thank you.
amazing work that you're doing in the world. And it's just an honor to just know you and walk this journey with you. So thank you for putting me in the hot seat, for coming in. And for everybody else, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and week. We are back here tomorrow with a panel that I'm really excited about for the Elevate series. Greg Hickman and Elizabeth Hartkey. We are going to be talking about systems and operations and scaling and efficiency and all the things that are really important if you want to get your message out there farther, faster. So really excited about that as well. Damon, thanks so much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, Amber.